Some people spend their entire lives chasing money. They get better jobs, higher salaries, bigger titles, yet somehow they never feel secure. At the same time, there are people earning far less, who sleep better at night, worry less about the future, and eventually walk away from work on their own terms. This isn't about intelligence. It isn't about working harder. And it definitely isn't about knowing more financial tricks. If money followed logic alone, the smartest people would always be the richest. But reality doesn't work that way. The truth is, most money decisions are not made with calculators. They're made with fear, ego, hope, and habits we don't even notice. This video isn't about how to make more money. It's about understanding why people who already have enough still make decisions that keep them stuck. Once you see money this way, you stop asking, how do I get rich? And start asking a much more dangerous question. Why do I keep making the same mistakes? Pony 1, luck versus skill, illusion of control. We like to believe that our success comes from smart decisions and hard work, and to some extent that's true. But there's something we rarely admit. We love taking credit for success. But when things go wrong, we're quick to blame bad luck. When a business works, we call it skill. When an investment pays off, we call it intelligence. But when things fail, suddenly it was the market, the economy, or bad timing. The truth is, success is never fully in our control. Luck and risk are always present, quietly shaping outcomes we don't see. Two people can make the same decision, with the same information, and end up with very different results. One wins, the other loses. This doesn't mean effort doesn't matter. It does, but humility matters just as much. You can't control luck. You can't eliminate risk. All you can do is make reasonable decisions. Avoid situations where one mistake destroys everything, and stay in the game long enough for skill to actually matter. So here's the uncomfortable question. If you take full credit for your success, do you also take the same responsibility for your failures? Point 2, getting rich versus staying rich. Most people don't lose money because they're stupid. They lose money because they don't know when to stop. At the beginning, taking risks feels smart. You work harder. You push more. You say yes to opportunities others avoid. And it works. Money starts coming in. Confidence turns into comfort. And comfort slowly turns into danger. This is where most people mess up. They keep playing the same aggressive game, even after their situation has changed. They keep risking, because risk worked before. But building money and protecting money are two very different games. When you're trying to get ahead, risk is necessary. When you're already ahead, risk becomes a threat. The moment money makes you feel safe, you start assuming it will always be there. You spend more. You take bigger chances. You stop thinking about what could go wrong. And money rarely disappears in one big mistake. It disappears through small decisions, made under the belief that things will work out. The goal isn't to win once. The goal is to avoid losing everything after you've already won, because wealth isn't about how fast you make money. It's about how long you can keep it. Point 3, saving equal freedom. Most people think saving money is about buying something later, a better car, a bigger house, a nicer vacation. But real saving has nothing to do with buying more things. It's about buying freedom. Think about this. If your job becomes unbearable tomorrow, your boss turns toxic, your workload doubles. Could you walk away? Most people can't. Not because they're weak, but because they're trapped. When someone lives paycheck to paycheck, leaving a job is not a real option. It feels dangerous. Because if you quit, you don't just lose your job. You risk missing rent. You risk unpaid bills. You risk not knowing how next month will work. Now compare that to someone who has 6 months of savings. They have the same job, the same stress, but they are not scared in the same way. If the job becomes too much, they can pause. They can look for something better. They don't feel trapped. That's the difference savings make. Not luxury, not status, just breathing room. Saving feels boring because no one sees it. No one claps when you don't buy something. No one congratulates you for staying disciplined. But every dollar you save is buying you time, space, control. Real wealth isn't about what you show. It's about what you can walk away from. Point 4. Wealth is what you don't see. Most people think wealth is something you can see. Nice car, expensive clothes, a big house. But real wealth is usually invisible. When you see someone driving a luxury car, you don't know the full story. That car might be on loan. Those clothes might be bought on a credit card. That lifestyle might be paid for with stress and debt. Spending is easy to see. Saving is not. Two people can look very different from the outside. One lives simply and spends carefully. The other looks rich and spends freely. But the person who spends less often has more control. They sleep better. They worry less. They have backup. Looking rich and being rich are not the same thing. Looking rich is about what you buy. Being rich is about what you keep. Most people spend money to impress others, not because they need things, but because they want approval. The problem is, you can look successful and still be struggling inside. Real wealth is quiet. It doesn't need attention. It doesn't show off. If you only focus on what people can see, you might miss what actually matters. Point 5. Emotions and money. Most people think money decisions are about numbers, income, returns, percentages, but money decisions are mostly about emotions. When things are going well, people feel confident. They take more risks. They feel smart. When things go wrong, fear takes over. People panic. They make rushed decisions. That's why many people fail with money. Not because they don't know what to do, but because they can't handle how it feels. On paper, the perfect plan is simple. Invest more. Never panic. Hold long term. But real life is different. When your savings drop, logic feels weak. Emotions feel strong. That's why being reasonable matters more than being perfect. A reasonable plan is one you can stick to, even when you're scared. Even when things don't look good. Some people spend years searching for the best strategy. They read every book, watch every video, but they never start. Others keep it simple. They invest slowly, they stay consistent, and over time they win. The goal of money is not maximum return. The goal is peace of mind. The best financial plan is the one that lets you sleep at night. If there's one thing to remember from this video, remember this. Money is not about looking successful. It's about staying safe when life doesn't go as planned. Anyone can look rich for a moment. Anyone can spend. Anyone can impress. But real wealth is built quietly. In discipline. In patience. In choices no one claps for. Luck will always exist. Risk will always exist. You can't control either completely. What you can control is how much room you give yourself to breathe. How many options you have when things go wrong. How calm you stay when others panic. Getting money is one skill. Keeping it is another. And peace of mind is the final level. So don't measure success by what people see. Measure it by how secure you feel, how well you sleep, how easily you can walk away from things that hurt you. Because at the end of the day, wealth is not the things you buy, it's the life you protect.